Okay, welcome back to Assignment 9. This is part 2. So we've completed steps 1 through 4. We're about to start on 5. And there's really going to be 3 kinds of calculations that we do on here. And this is kind of the first type. We're going to calculate 7% tax on each sale. Each sale is shown in the detail row and is printed all over and over. So, see if this report view will show it. So if I scroll to the right, each sale is listed on its own row, and the price of the sale is shown here. So for each one of these prices, we will have sales tax of 7%. And then in actually question 6, we'll add that price to the tax and put that next to it. The thing to notice is we're doing a calculation that is only using data on one row at a time, right? So we'll calculate what's the tax on this one, then this one, then this one. So it's a little different than if we do something with columns. So let's go back to design view. Notice the report was pretty spread out, so it would be better if we took our model ID, price, make, model, trim level. Those would look better if we simply slid them to the left so they wouldn't be so spread out. How does that look? See, now if we go to our report view, we can see Bill bought this Ford and Steve bought the Chevy and the Ford. So that's a little easier to read. Now we'll, now see there's no room next to the price for the tax. So I'd kind of like it right next to each other. So I'll take my, my make, model, and trim level. Holding down the control key lets you select more than one thing at a time. And then I can click on it and slide them down just a little bit. Now I have some space here beside my price. So for calculations, I'm going to insert a text box here under controls. Note this thing here is a label. The label simply puts characters on the screen. The text box can reference fields in a table or do calculations. We'll click text box. Put it here, and it puts a label to the left. We'll click on that and hit the delete button to get rid of it. Where it says unbound, we'll put our calculation and type equals price times 0.07. And that's question 5. And then we'll do controls, text box. Here we are. Delete, unbound, equals price plus price times 0.07. That is question number 6. Hit the enter key, change the view, report view, and see we have the price is the first one, 21,000. The tax is 1,500. Adding the price and tax together gets us $23,005 for the first car. You know, I actually skipped a little piece of question 3, and I will do it for you now then. Question 3 said total the price for all of the cars bought by a person. So let me go back to report view. See how Steve bought 2 cars? At the end of question 3, it says with price totaled for each customer and the report as a whole. That means add up those 2 cars for Steve, and then adding them up for the report as a whole means add up all 3 cars for the report. So let me show you that. That's a function of grouping. We'll go to the group and sort window. You'll see it's grouped on customer ID. Remember, the wizard did that for us. But now we'll select more. And it says with no totals, but we want totals, so we're going to add them in there. Total on price. That's the thing we want to add up. The type of total is the sum, meaning we want to add up the price. So it's kind of incorrect English, but averaging is a type of subtotal in Access language. Show grand total means add up the price for all prices in the entire report. Show subtotal in group footer means add up the prices for all cars bought by each customer, because the customer is the grouping level in our design. And then what you'll see is, get rid of this, you'll see we've added a customer ID footer. That option I just chose on the menu did that. And it added a text box, and it used the sum function to add up price. And then it added a report footer, entered a text box, and used the sum function to add up price. Note these 2 text boxes are exactly the same, but they work differently because they are inserted into different sections of the report. So if you use the sum function in the grouping footer, in this case customer ID footer, then it adds up that field for every record for that customer. When you use the same sum function in the report footer, it adds up that field for every record in the entire report. We can go back to our report view to check that out. So you see Bill has 1 car, so his total is just $21,500 because he only has 1 car. Steve, on the other hand, has 2 cars, so those 2 cars add up to $44,000. And then at the bottom we have our report for all cars bought in this report adds up to $65,000. Now we might also want to do the same. See, we added those up. We might want to add up the price, including the tax as well, right? So adding up the tax as well in a column is what's being done in question 7. So question 7 would be adding up this column. I'll show you how to do that. It's slightly different. So to get this sum function in here, we used the menus in the group and sort window by selecting what we wanted, and the computer automatically wrote those in. The difference over here, when we do it with tax, you just have to do it manually, but it's really the same thing. So controls, text box, put the text box here under price plus tax. Delete the label, it shows up to the left. And in here type equals sum price plus price times 0.07. Enter. And we'll check out if that worked over here. If I go back to report preview. And 20,005, right? Then 47,000, 20, 47. Yeah, that looks right. Now let's do it as a report as a whole, design view. All you have to do is copy and then click down here and paste. And because remember I said the function is exactly the same, it's just in a different location. So if we copy and paste it down to the report footer, we have it without retyping it. So now they get 70,000 instead of the 47,000, but it's the same sum function. That finishes question 7. And let's see, And then question 9 is to make a navigation form. So we'll close the customer report. Do you want to save it? Yep. And then it says to make a customer form. So we'll click on the customer form and create form. That gives us customer form. We'll close that, save that, save that. Create a navigation form, horizontal tabs. Great. Drag the customer form onto a tab. Drag the customer report onto another tab. And close that, save that, and that concludes, oops, I gotta click OK here. That concludes step 8, and that's assignment 9. Let me know if you have any questions.